Welcome all to another Pinnacle Q&A webinar. With that being said, we have a topic of choice, which we're going to get into soon. With that being said, though, if you're watching this on record, like, subscribe, follow the YouTube channel to keep in touch with weekly webinars just like this. If you've got any questions yourself while you're watching these as well, guys, feel free to drop the questions in the comments. So do personally reply to every single person and every single inquiry, every single comment, because there's no such thing as a stupid question. With that being said, we do also have some new members. I'm going to get my little list up here. I don't think there's many. I think there was only four or five or second, 4 or 5. Let's have a little look. Okay, everyone, quick wave. Welcome these new members on board. Cody, welcome, brother. Ronald and Byrne. Guys, these webinars are for you. Attend them just like these guys do. Take a lot of value away. These guys here know that I like to be straight to the point with no fluff and lots of swearing. It's only passion, not anger, that's aimed at these webinars. So guys, come along, and it is literally that simple. Today's topic, guys, is going to be a great topic. Make sure I've done all the rest of these intros first, though. So new announcements. Guys, everyone, a thumbs up if you saw the scripts for the stuff, for the marketing strategy you're currently running, yeah? Okay, if not, go to stage 3.1 in the portal, floor to the floor. In there, you're going to find everything that you need for every follow-up, every sequence, every message. So for any of you guys, again, we're going to have the marketing webinar after this one today. For any of you guys that need that stuff, it's all there. And these are all like up to date. It's all strike content. So there's that. In terms of anything else, I can't remember what else there was to announce. There is going to be a lot of new content, a lot. Two very fortunate individuals do already have some strike content. We're not going to say your names. We're going to keep people guessing. But look, with that being said, we are starting to drip and drop strike content out there. It's looking pretty good. So yeah, we're doing a lot of work in the back end on that stuff, guys. Keep your eyes peeled, because there will be strike and Pinnacle combined content. All of your stuff, such as T's and C's, pre-exercise questionnaires, time hold forms, cancellation forms, everything like that, brand new. It's not going to look about 10 years old, which my ones do, because that's what it was when I was a PT. But you guys obviously tweak them and make them modernized. These ones are looking pretty sick. So there's lots of stuff that's going to come out. Update about strike, pretty much, because those of you know now who and what that is. Basically, we're probably around 3 weeks away from finishing it, of which then exciting announcement, we have been accepted as a sponsor for Miss Fitness Australia in Adelaide, and that's how I know Mark and his awesome partner Denise too. So we're lucky enough to be sponsoring those guys with that. Adelaide guys as well, if you're in town, basically we're going to have a booth there, I think, along those lines. With that being said, guys, all the Adelaide crew, we're going to get all you guys down. We'll get some merch on and stuff like that. Come and say hi, etc., etc. And we might run some little promo stuff where we can get some interstate people to come down as well. So that's that. But yeah, that stuff will be done, and then obviously then funneled into Pinnacle. I've said this to quite a few people that have leverage and have trainers. So it's some new exciting content for you guys, but people coming up behind and hiring trainers, because there's quite a few of you guys. The stage 10 is going to be remodeled and completely redone with a new and up-to-date content. Like the portal stuff is very hard to stay on top of. Strike stuff is timeless. It will never need to be done again, hence why it's taken so long. But then stage 10 is next. So if you've got trainers working with you, if you're looking to leverage your business, there's going to be brand new content with that. And that is pretty much that. Okay, the topic for today, let's get stuck in, is this: the best educational platform for your clients' success. So there's basically, we're going to discuss lots of stuff today around how to educate your clients and to give them just more than yourself. We're going to discuss stuff here at scale as well, guys, because the more and more we help people, the more and more people are turning into having scaled businesses that have lots of trainers underneath them, and they help more and more people. Therefore, your workload increases, and we don't want that. Everything needs to be operated smoothly. For those of you who are watching here at Pinnacle, we like to grow people fully booked fast. From there, people have teams of trainers, if that's something that they want to do within their business. So that's what we're going to get stuck into today. Tanya, good to see you. Ryan, my man. Dude, Ryan as well. There's a really good, there's a Voxer for you in Voxer. Check it out at some point. I know you're super busy, but it's a really good one. You're going to like it. So check that one out. Nath, my man, good to see you as well. Jaden, I said hi to you. Alec, good to see you. Tash, Jade, everyone else. Let's go. Q&A before we get stuck into the educational platform. Anything about anything? This normally, after people wake up and have their coffee, normally does go on for about 45 minutes. So let's not waste any time and get stuck into it straight away. Let's go. Questions about anything at all? Remember, marketing loop stuff's coming next after this webinar. 1 week we'll have someone who just goes straight at it. It's normally a Tane or someone who just goes, yeah, I got a question. He's good though. We know what we're doing, Tane. We're all good. Are we good?
Simon.
Yeah, here we go. There we go. All right.
There we go. Well, I had some questions sort of loaded, and it's around leveraging and growing the business, as in bringing trainers on board. You've pretty much just sort of addressed that we're going to go into it today. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of specifics because we'll probably cover it. But yeah, like I guess where I'm at is I am that, what you just said, I am that fully booked trainer where I don't really have much more time. Yep. That time now I want to invest into growing the business. So, and things that I always struggle with is, you know, like we'll put an ad out and we'll try to attract the person, but then it's like, how do we onboard them? What training do we need to give them? Like, I guess, what's the priorities? Like, what should I be focused? Like, all right, we have a new trainer or we get someone in, what's priority 1, 2, 3, 4 to bring them in? Because as you know, with me is I try to create this process and sometimes I get lost as we go, okay, well, what's the first thing that needs to be there? Obviously, yeah, you've done it. We've got trainers that do it. So yeah, just any help around that and input will be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Look, so as I mentioned there before, stage 10 is going to be remodeled, right? And this is for everybody because again, this is where you gravitate towards eventually when you grow a business, right? In business, it's impossible to do everything with your 2 hands, right? All of you guys are super, super passionate about helping people, right? If you want to go and do that beyond your means of being comfortable and have a nice life and being, you know, around a 150 to 200K mark in terms of income, which is great income. Like, I don't care what anyone says, multiple 6-figure mark, close to, that's awesome. If you want to go and like, for me, for sure, it's about testing the boundaries. Yeah. Like for me, that's what I do. Like it's, first and foremost, there's no financial motivation. Money's a byproduct. It's about testing boundaries. You get paid well for doing that. If you want to do that, leverage is the only way you can do things. It's the only way you can do things, right? So in terms of that, and we mentioned before, stage 10 is going to have a revamp. Now, in that, we're going to be putting sort of like a sub portal within a portal, which shows you what you need to, and this is what we're going to be talking about today on a foundational level. But basically, Damo, like you need to create what we spoke about before. If you like, do you remember when you wanted to build a portal for onboarding trainers, which systemizes the whole approach? I highly recommend that you do have that and you get that done. We're going to build that for everyone so you know what it's like, and you can even take the template with the content in there, all of the onboarding steps, click it, and it will go straight into your account. And you can take that, right? However, what you want something now in terms of like what I would recommend quickly in terms of the main things to be looking out for to onboard them?
Well, I guess it's not always like the now thing. Like I said, it's always like, just what do I need to be working on now? Or what's the next thing? So I know with me and you, we've addressed that, you know, I'm just finishing off my studies and my OPEX. So that's the now thing.
Yep.
I've got this trainer coming on board in 3 months. So yeah, it's just like, what are the things like you just said then? Have that portal ready. So yeah, I think I just get stuck with what are the things that I should be working on first? Not necessarily what do I need to do right now to get a quick result. It's just the right result.
Definitely. Look, you're going to get the right result regardless. What happens here is sometimes it's perfection paralysis, right? Not procrastination paralysis, right? It's kind of the same thing, but you're a perfectionist, right? So what you're going to find is that you're going to want to perfect things, which will enable you from taking the first step right, to completing the whole onboarding portal, or to just get a trainer on board, and it will paralyze you because you're overcomplicating it. That's a great trait to have as well, because you're a perfectionist, and you should be a perfectionist, right? Basically, bro, like, the first step is just go and get the trainer. You'll find that you'll then make the time to do things, and this is the first thing as well, and I hate to say this, but this is the way it is. I was speaking to a great client in WA this morning, right? When you hire a trainer, the first trainer is never going to be your last, ever. However, what you don't want to do is just wing it, right? And go, oh, sweet, what I can do is I'll just take this trainer. If it doesn't work out, I'll learn from that. That you might as well be on your own doing that, right? Like, that's what I'm here to do, right? So look, however, you will learn a hell of a lot. When you start going into this realm of leverage and things like that, it's about management. Management's the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's management. I don't like it. Like, growing a business to fully booked stage where you can then leverage it is easy. It is easy because it just involves taking action. That's all it is. You take action, you win. It's very fucking simple. I don't expect anyone to not take action. You don't take action, you don't move. But obviously, from me, you've got the structures and the strategies of how to get there. From there, it's about management. It's the hardest thing. So can't really give you an answer. I'd just say, literally, just go get the trainer and I'll tell you what to do. And then when the content's there, the content will be drag and drop and click into your business, and it'll be there for you to do. I hate to like not give like a lot of clarity, but that's kind of the best I can do. Get the trainer. From there, weekly meetings and onboarding. We have a process called Tell, Show, Watch, Go as well, shadowing and all this sort of stuff. You can get them up to speed pretty quickly. It's more so, I think, if I was you, Damo, with what you're studying to finish, training around anything to do with that, or if they're going to have to deal with any form of the tech and the software, that's where I would start creating like walkthroughs and stuff like that. Yeah, because you want to be able to have stuff that your team can utilize without having to ask you. Again, it's all part of leverage that you're not needed, right?
Yeah, because yeah, no, that's all great. And because I guess I had a couple of trainers I interviewed maybe like 4 months ago. If you remember, we did that.
Yeah.
And but I definitely sort of felt like I winged it. Like, I was just like, let's get the add-on, let's get the trainers. And I guess, yeah, for me, yeah, being that perfectionist, I just feel like with having like really good certainty and clarity in my systems gives me confidence, and that confidence allows me to communicate properly. So I look back at that and I'm like, I wasn't communicating probably as clear as I wanted to. Yeah. Hence why there was a lot of apprehension from the trainers that interviewed. So yeah, I guess that's what, I probably look back and go, oh yeah, I need to get a bit clearer, which we've been doing. So yeah.
You learn from the first time, but at the same time, like I said, that's not what a business coach should say, basically. Otherwise, there's no point in having a coach, right? You just go and learn on your own. Everything you need from recruitment, hiring, the recruitment process in terms of the how to advertise for the trainer, the templates, the interview process, the phone call interview, face-to-face interview, that's all there. It's in stage 10, and then the onboarding and the training stuff. However, I want to be able to make it next, like it's Damo-fied, if that makes sense, which is just perfectly positioned and watertight, and with the new sort of strike quality. So it'll be done. For now, bro, just again, all the guys that are doing leverage stuff, I mean, like me and Tane had some really good communication yesterday about some really detailed shit. Just use me at the end of the day. That's what I'm here for. If you're finding you've got sort of like, you've got the framework from the portal, but then you've got more perfection stuff on top, use me, and then we can do it custom for you. Yeah. So that's good. Nice. Anyone else? Anything about anything? Non-marketing.
Can I just add to that a bit, Si?
Yeah, bro, for sure.
What may help, Damo, could be like knowing the tasks that you're going to get the trainer to come on and do, right? So like, watch what you're doing in the day-to-day, know the tasks that you're going to leverage across to them. And then, so then you understand like what you're essentially leveraging out, right? And then create a checklist, create like a list of those step-by-step tasks. And then you can sort of understand the process of what their day might look like. And then that might be a lot easier to convey and communicate that to them, right? So then it's like, when you're going through and doing your sessions, watch how you deliver sessions, understand how you want them to deliver them. and then you can sort of create something that shows that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect.
Tane is a very systemated dude in terms of his onboarding stuff and that as well, which is great. You know, you want to make sure you're crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and not leaving anything, you know, unchecked. So it's a good way to look at it. Anything else about anything, anything at all related? Cool. All right, this is good. All right, basically, let's get stuck in then, guys. With what we're going to go through today, talk about educating the clients in the best possible way. Like who here educates their clients with more than just their training? I reckon you better do anyway. Put it like that. That's good. Well, that's good. So how do we do it? So first and foremost, I tell you what, I would love to know, Mark, can I ask you, brother, you and Denise, because obviously you guys are new on board. You're both in incredible shape. You work in a gym where the demographic of people in there, you know, they're going to probably aspire to have trainers like you and Denise. You both competed. I know you've competed. I was speaking with the guy, the owner of the MS Fitness before. I've forgotten his name.
David, yeah.
And he said that you competed at his old stuff that he did in essay or something. Anyway, what do you guys do in terms of how you manage your clients?
Well, I guess it's more, I mean, even though don't title it that way, it's kind of more that lifestyle coaching regardless, whether you're that therapist as well. Obviously, I've got that sports nutrition as well. So the diet and nutrition comes into play. Even things like sleep, like just all of those things come into play too. So yeah, they're probably the main ones. It's just being adaptable to each person and being what they kind of need, I guess.
That's awesome. I think this is the stuff that I think most of these guys, or most of our guys in general, are going to be coaching, because we want to make sure that you as coaches coach your clients the best possible content. How do you do that with yourself and Denise? Do you do it in person during the sessions? Do you have people call you outside of hours? How does it work?
Well, I guess it's different for both of us. Like we've sort of said, our strengths are very almost opposite, I would say. So she tends to be the one that gets the Instagram inquiries and the online inquiries, whereas for me, it's that personal network, so the face-to-face. So yeah, it's different to both of us.
Okay. And with you guys, when you coach a client, and I only ask you again because you're the newbies here, when you coach a client, how do you deliver them the value that they need to succeed on top of what you're doing with them face-to-face in the gym? So if they need stuff about the nutrition and stuff, you're using apps for that, or anything to do with sleep, any general recommendation? Do you wing it? Like, what's the go?
Well, we go through the recommendations with particularly sort of just coming on board as well. We're definitely having quite a few discussions because, again, her ways are kind of different to mine as well. So we're looking at sort of integrating that too. We had been, particularly even separate training programs and nutrition programs had been separate, and ideally would be trying to take some workload off of myself with the nutrition stuff. So so we're looking at integrating people more over to the apps and doing more macro breakdowns. If it's for comp preps and things like that, we get a little bit more specific. But yeah, there's kind of, I guess we just kind of incorporate it all, whether it be in the initial sessions. We always push people to, even if they just want to start off on one session a week or one session a fortnight, we push that urgency of getting more sessions in early so they can get the as much of that information as possible to get those foundations as early as possible.
Love it. That's good. That's the main thing. Anyone else want to talk about how they do it? I think Tane, you're actually a pretty good person to ask about this, bro. We've been speaking about it, the onboarding process, quite a bit. Without obviously the detail, how do you deliver the value currently? What do you guys do? And thanks for that, Mark. It's appreciated. It's good value. Tane, how do you do it?
Mine's a combination of both Boxer and face-to-face at the moment. I've got some content in that in my own portal, but it's just not developed to a point where I've released it yet. but that's the long-term goal, is to have it all in a portal, and then I can just refer to it. The videos that I have uploaded and put into a portal at the moment, I'm just sending YouTube links out for common ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. Anyone else want to discuss how they do it, or have any questions about how they can't do it, or it's tricky to do it? Bearing in mind, Jack will speak to you, bearing in mind the Pinnacle model is we sell blocks of time, right? I've gradually moved away from like saying 30-minute sessions. They're not. It's blocks of time. It's an hour and a half and an hour. In that time, it's wired that personal trainers think you need to be doing personal or physical training. If that's the way it is, then you're going to leave the most important stuff off the side. So, Jack, and this is the whole point of today.
Can I just jump in as well there, brother?
Yeah.
Like a lot of our guys during the onboarding process, I say to them, like you said, being a personal trainer, not just being a physical trainer as well. A lot of our guys will come in and purely just sit down and have a talk for half an hour, which I don't, and that's just like relaying onto the things that aren't working in the outside world. And when we sell that mind and body makeover, I essentially say to people, look, if mentality isn't right outside of the gym, in here is not going to work either way. So we've got to make sure you're set out there before we can get in here.
It's a really good point. That I think we redid the packages recently. And this is I actually thought of this yesterday. We redid the packages recently. They're looking sharp. However, there is one package that we spoke about a couple of months ago around doing the 1-session verbal drop sell, where you chose, with a great client of Michael in the UK, chose to work either a personal training session or a physical training session based on what they needed, right? So you do it was a verbal drop sell. Do you remember that package we put together? It was more of like a unique coaching product. I think it's something that I would probably incorporate into the actual coaching products, the golds and the silvers, that I would do from now on, is just put that this is not just physical training, it's also personal. Everything starts within here, right? So if that's the case, you need to rewire that mindset. So yeah, thanks for that, Tarks. And you find that the personal training sessions go well, being personal, being non-physical?
100%. Yeah, like we had a guy the other day, and I said a lot of trainers obviously will get you in and just be rushed straight into a physical session, and he kind of said that's exactly what I thought it would be, and I'm really glad I have that aspect of, well, I can do that with you essentially.
Yeah, I think Charmaine, it would be good for you to elaborate on this. With Ricky, you mentioned that most people are now veering towards wanting a personal training.
Yeah, and I've had like a lot of feedback from my clients from previous personal trainers that it's so robotic.
Yeah.
So it's so much more personal. You actually sit down with the client and figure out what they want and what they need, and that's what's going to get them progress long term.
Yeah, 100%. So for anyone here who's like semi-new and hasn't been on board for too long, like we have spoken about this a lot, like there's 3 types of PT. There's physical trainers, and these are your rep counters and guys that just put people through workouts, push, pull, plank, right? Then you've got personal trainers, guys that know how to speak and build rapport. But then you've also got psychological trainers, right? So they all mean PT, but the psychological trainer knows how to communicate with people's subconscious and actually get from their mentality, like why, or from their brain, why they are wired mentally the way they're wired. If you can rejig that, you'll see people like lose the most amount of weight in a 7-day period than you will ever see doing anything physical. It's also something that's underlyingly like breaking the industry, I think, in a way where people think, especially with half-an-hour sessions that are hard to deliver, like you got to go straight into that session. You like, no, come on. I'll do all that. Like, I'm sorry. It's absolute BS. Like people, number one, they pay for your time. Pay for your time. Make sure that you're giving them what they need, and it's not just a physical training session. A lot of people do want a personal trainer, but I think PTs themselves get it a little bit misguided and think that PT means physical trainer, when really.
Can I add to that as well? Sorry, Simon.
Yeah, no,
when I first started, I thought it was all just about physical, right?
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk to my clients about that, but I thought they're paying me for my time to physically give them a session.
Yeah.
Then when I learned this is not getting anywhere, You have client drop-offs because you're not talking to them deep with their mindset, taking time aside to talk about their nutrition, their mindset, what's going on outside for you not to be sticking to the program, actually delve deep in. Then I realized that is actually so important, and that's what I'm about anyway. So why can't I have that a part of my session? So literally now, even I had a lady that signed up for the 8-week challenge. We got a week in and I noticed she was dropping off a little bit with her food already. That second session, I wouldn't normally have done this back then. I took her and sat her down. I said, what's going on with your food? Instead of taking her for a physical session, for a second session that she's paying for, I went and did a mindset session and nutrition session with her. And then I've got a client now that comes to see me 3 sessions a week. She does 2 sessions that are physical, 1 session that's mindset and nutrition right now. I literally get on a Zoom call with her, have a chat with her about it. She gets so much value from it. We're going to do that for like a good 4 weeks first, because she's a complete newbie. And she's in her early 50s. She's not really good with technology. She's not really good with all this tracking process to start with. And really breaking that down for her is so, so important to actually get her results, because if you don't do that, she's going to feel so overwhelmed. She's going to feel like she's not getting anywhere with it and so confused. So you need to take that time with them to really break it down so they can actually get longer term results. And they're going to stay with you for longer because you build such a good relationship with them.
100%. But this is like, honestly, we've spoken about this a lot. Like most people, we have spoken about this. Like you've heard it before. So you guys are normal regulars here. So, but guys, I'm not joking. If you see that one of your clients is unhappy, or if you have that, oh, I reckon they're going to quit, and then in 2 weeks they quit moment, right? Because that's what everyone has. Like everyone has that. If you just put them through a physical training session, wave the client goodbye, basically, and just, you've got to take it a bit more personal. Jack, what have you got, my man? You were going to say something before.
Yeah, I had 2 questions, one of which got answered. So thanks for that, guys. And I have a client that's been a client for a long time.
Yeah.
Now he lost a bit of weight and then he put it back on. Then he had an injury, so he went off for some time.
Yeah.
I pushed him into getting a surgery as well, which he was reluctant to, but then he went and get it. He's back.
Yeah.
He's one person I struggle a bit to make him lose some serious weight, because he has some serious weight to lose, and very introvertish, like he would not talk to you. Even if he even walks through the door at reception, he just tap the card, do that, and just walk in. You won't even say hi to that lovely lady who will say, good morning, how are you? And like nothing.
Yeah.
And is friendly with me. So what I tried to do is he's training with me twice a week. So I said, okay, you liked walking, so let's start walking. And he didn't. So I said, on the days that you don't train with me, I want to do some cardio. How about we do this together? I tried that. Didn't work. And I literally punched him hard. He's a big boy, so he can take the punch. I punch him. I'm like, bro, what do I need to do to get you fucking to do what I want you to do, man? I mean, how does your manager manage you and, get shit done?
Yeah.
And this is good for you. You need to lose weight. And he's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, fuck it. He's like, he couldn't be bothered. Like, he's one of
I've
those
got the exact same. I've got someone, Jack, who's about 160 kilos. Now, this guy's been through 3 or 4 PTs. And I've taken this guy shopping. Like, I've taken him, put the food in his basket and say, like, eat this shit. Like, what are we doing right now? You're paying me not to let you quit, but you're not taking action. And his mindset's just kind of changed now, because you have to get into him. Like, a lot of people, like those kind of people, will look for that social outing, and maybe him getting out of the house is coming to see you. But now you need to change that mindset and go, no, I'm your fucking trainer, mate. Like, you can't disrespect me, because I'm getting disrespected right now because I'm providing you this service. So if you make it seem like more of a trainer as opposed to like a friend as well, which is a hard line to kind of go by, because you want to be friendly, but there's that line where it comes in, okay, we've got to make something happen now for sure.
Yeah.
That's so funny, because I've literally been struggling with a client as well she's been seeing me since I think November last year, and she's 105, but she's just been going back and forth to 101, 105. And I've had so many sit down sessions with her. I've had budgeting sessions with her. I've had grocery shopping sessions with her. I'm like, what else can I do to rack my brain? And obviously, like, there's a bit of trauma that's happened like previously for her. So this is what's really pushing her back and forth to not allow herself to move forward. And literally, we're going to have another sit down session this Friday to like pre-plan out again, where can we go with our goals? But I'm feeling like a little bit stuck with her too, because I've literally tried everything, and she's been through a number of PTs too, and she's come to me. She's resonated with me, I think, the most out of all the other PTs, because I've cared and I've taken the time to sit down with her and actually do these other things, but I'm stuck too. So anyone else that has maybe some, I don't know.
Let's chime in here. So with your clients that are like not following procedure and following your protocols, what you want to do is give them small wins. So you want to do whatever you can to like the smallest possible thing that's going to progress them towards their goals. And once they tick off that, like it can be as simple as, you know, walking once a week, or like, you know, trying to following your nutrition for 1 or 2 or 3 days, right? These small wins, and then you reiterate that to them, reinforce that. And once they're getting some form of results, then you can start adding things to their procedure. If you bombard them with like 5 different changes to their life, no one's going to be able to 180 their life. So you got to do it bit by bit, and you got to drip feed it over the course of the period, over the course of like a few months and stuff. And like as you're doing it slowly, 3 months down the line, they'll have incorporated everything. But you've got to do it slowly, give them the small wins, reinforce, oh, I'm so glad you did this basic thing, right? And give them some confidence, because it's all about like giving these clients confidence and them seeing rewards out of doing minute changes.
It's 100% correct, right? You've got to like, it's all about communication as well. Like there was a video we put out recently about how to become the best PT, and it's just communication. So like it's sort of, okay, do you want to lose weight? Yes. How much do you need to lose? You need to lose 60 kilos. Okay, let's focus on the first 5 kilos, right? Focus on the first 1. You've got to break it down minute goals to make them see that they're moving forward. You've just also got to highlight, and this is what it's really good what Tarkan said and Jack saying before he jumped off the bridge there. It looked like you jumped off the bridge behind you for a second there. You scared me. Yeah, look, it's like he hit his I don't recommend violence, but like it's fine, right? You know what I mean? Like you've got to get it through to them. Look, the bigger the goal and the smaller the action, right? The smaller the steps are going to be, but we're going to move you forward. So basically it's going to take longer, which is fine, because once they get up and running, like we always say, first 5 kilos for weight loss Gen Pop clients, first 5 kilos is the biggest 5 kilos. It's the biggest, and it's that simple. So with that being said, set minute goals, like Jude said. It's spot on. It's great advice. Set minute goals, get them to literally just get them to take minute action, and then you compound it. There's at the end of the day, guys, as well, I think it's we've obviously gone off on a bit of a detailed, like I think relevant ramble here, like, but it's kind of the topic of where I'm getting at with today's education and how to, there's this chat about people just abusing people and slapping everyone. It's great. Trying to hold myself together here, guys, talking about hitting your clients and shit. So look, it's about scalability, guys. At the end of the day, you can't give a shit about your clients' goals more than they do themselves. And with that being said, it sounds horrible, but it is the truth. Like I've been in positions where you've been lied to. I had a story, 140 kilo girl got to 115, and then she just plateaued. Again, just a gen population client. She came to me, I was racking my brains. I was only about a year in the industry at the time, and it turns out she was eating mass amounts of chocolate all day and wasn't telling me. And I was like, well, you've just lied to me for the last 6 months. It will screw your mental health. So don't get too involved, but do what you've got to do. When you can make them win small and frequently, they'll move, and eventually they will have their own, you know, their own wits about them to take further action. What we want to have is we want to get people to the place where they take action, and you can start putting them through big transformations. They can aspire to want to do comps. They can aspire to want to become a PT. Lots of you guys, like, you've got people that have become PTs. Lots of you guys have competed, right? You know that. You see, and some of the girl, or one of the girls, Claire, that we have from Good Life, you know Claire, her goal is to compete in Vegas at the Worlds, right? She used to be morbidly obese, guys. This is the sort of, like, you know, life-changing shit. And, you know, this is what you want to be inspired to do. So how do you educate at volume? Because you can't do this, again, aspiring for me to get you guys to become 5K killers, right? All of you guys, 5K. You're working with me, that's the goal, right? you have to be able to deliver this stuff at scale. And the only way for us to be able to do that is with the members portal. And this is how myself and Jude help people at scale. This is how with Strike, like Strike is a glorified members portal, but it's a lot more technical, right? It's an educational platform. It's a course, just like an online university course, right? You've got to have something like that. I think otherwise what will happen is you'll spend so many manual hours in your business or with clients in their sessions that they're expecting physical training from. I mean, we speak about like personal training, but most people, even if they are at a roadblock with their goals, they still expect physical training. That's where your communication comes in about today we're sitting down. Why? Because you're at this roadblock and we need to get you around it, and we're doing a personal training session. If you want to be able to get the most out of the sessions with the guys, right, with your clients, then you've got to have a platform that you can have all of this stuff summarized in. And that's where the members areas come into it. Like, who here has got a members area? I know there's a couple people here off the top of my head that have one. Okay, Aaron and Sham, Tane's got a beginning one, and Ray, we started to make one. Guys, I think there's a lot of you guys here that are freaking busy. I'm looking at Joseph and Dover. I mean, you guys like coming on board at similar times. You boys are in a position where your business has grown very, very well. Obviously working with Jude and myself, like, guys, you're coming to that stage now where you want to leverage. I know, Joe, we're looking at that stuff, brother, right? You get someone to come on board, you've got to be able to have the element of coachability that you can provide them, right? Even though you're not with them in the sessions. This is where the members area comes in, where your other communication stuff comes in. Claire's just joined us. Good to see you, Claire. Basically, that's what we want to put together for every single person eventually. It's really, really important. And it means that you can focus on the physical training that a lot of your clients think they're paying for, give them other work to do, give them the opportunity to study and get the macronutrient coaching done, right? Like Mark said about working with the macros and the calories and all that sort of stuff. Most of you guys who coaches macros here and does like calorie prescription, stuff like that, right? So like a lot of you guys should be doing that stuff because that's what you're in within your guidelines to do as PTs, right?
Yeah, brother, as well. Sorry, let's jump in 2 secs. Like so what's with nutrition, say a diploma of nutrition now, right?
Yeah.
I am almost like looking into it, but I'm almost like, this isn't worth it because you can almost provide as much as they need without it. And you can just say, this is just a recommendation. Me and
Nathan had a very detailed conversation about this with his missus, right? Nate, your missus, so Mark, you said sports nutritionist. Is that what you're qualified in? Yeah. Nate, your missus Mel, she's a dietitian or nutritionist, like by trade, correct?
Clinical nutritionist. She did the 4-year uni course or whatever.
Yes. So look, there is restrictions here. Look, people that operate online, a lot of the time they'll just prescribe whatever the hell they want. And a lot of people will just prescribe whatever the hell they want. The reality is, if you're face-to-face in a gym and something happens to someone and it goes back to you, you're probably going to end up behind bars, right? If you prescribe food to someone that they're allergic to and they're silly enough to eat it. Go on, Nate.
We had a guy within the dairy company years ago. He did a challenge. And not a nutritionist at all, and was giving people meal plans and whatnot. And someone did complain to him about him to the authorities, saying, "Oh, this guy made me sick. He gave me a diet or meal plan of just seafood, apparently, whatever." And he got in big shit. He got expelled from the company, from the dairy company. He works at another gym. I know where he works now. But yeah, so it does happen. I always use that as a reference point when people ask me. So what's the deal? I was like, "Oh, look. Yeah, nutritionist's wife, we're not allowed to do this. We can do calories and macros. That is it." Yeah. Because if you get too, because I have PTs say, "Oh, what's the deal with that?" So if you do too much, never call it a meal plan. Never call it a meal plan, because if you call it a meal guide, there is a loophole there. So I'll write meal guides to people, which, it's a meal plan. It's a meal guide. I would never at one point call it a meal plan. My wife can do meal plans. I cannot.
100%. I think, to be honest as well, my missus, who's competed and won in one of the categories and placed 4th out of 20 odd, so she did well. Her coaches, Jade, I think, is here, right? So Hector and Carlene in Darwin that used to be there. They're now in the sunny coast. But anyway, they used to be the most prolific trainers in Darwin until Bilateral, right? Which we now operate. These guys coached my missus to get in phenomenal shape, right? They didn't provide macronutrients. All they did is they had like a binder, like food book, and it was like a catalog, and you just wrote it all in there. It was like old school, but this is going back about 7 or 8 years ago, before apps were as prolific. And I always said to my wife, ask Hector, or she was working with Carlene, Jade, right? So I said, ask Carlene what the macro breakdown is and the calories are of that. They never told her the answer. Now, here's the thing. So what I'm getting at here, you don't need to prescribe a meal plan or a meal guide, like Nathan says, where 9 times out of 10, that the person who builds that doesn't go down to the numerical breakdown of the data that makes up the food, right? They just eat it because they're given that. I think nutritionists and dietitians don't like it when there is a loophole where you can educate people around the numbers of food, and you don't need to be qualified to do that, right? That's what we would get. Yeah, let's see the thumbs up there, Nate. So guys, if you can divert around that stuff and actually educate, like even if you were a trainer who was like happy with breaking the rules and whatnot, you're still not educating the client as to why they're getting in shape following that plan. Now, do you have to do that? No, you don't have to educate. But for me, like I'm a teacher, I'm an educator. I want to have that breakdown, right? Does anyone else want to share anything around that, like around these meal plans, nutritionist calories sort of breakdown? Because macronutrient coaching is the only way, personally, that you should be doing this, because you want to coach people to not ever need another coach again. If you don't educate them, they'll go and get more education. So it's that simple. I don't know whether anyone has anything to share.
I'm a nutritionist, and
Yes.
in my years of personal training, I have not really told anyone about my degree, just because it wasn't really necessary. And exactly what Simon's saying is about educating your clients. So I would send people down 2 routes of nutrition. Either I would teach them how to track their food so they can understand what calories and what macronutrients are in their food. And that's a great eye opener to see, oh, this yogurt is 200 calories and this burger is 1,000 calories. And that's really good to start with tracking. Or you can send them down the route where you have where you get them to pretty much give you a food journal, and then you can sort of see where their pitfalls are and that sort of thing. So educate, that's more of the guidelines situation that you want to go down. But meal plans are like more of an outdated thing that, you know, bodybuilders use, but you don't really need that. And no one's going to really follow that, especially your everyday clients. You're only going to get people who have like insane discipline, even being able to stick to something like that for like months at a time. So always opt for either showing them calorie counting or going through their food themselves and getting them to understand, you know, these sorts of things. Like if someone's a beer drinker every day, if someone's like having full sugar drinks, like these are things that they can cut out and get some easy returns from, and educating them around that. You're going to find that more of your clients stick to that sort of thing. And that's also a better form of practice anyway.
It's 100% right. 100% right. Like macronutrients the way forward, and educating them on this can take time. Like it will chew up time in this webinar too. So like Tash, we'll get to your question next, and we'll talk about summarizing this stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, Simon. So what Anthony and I have incorporated, because he's obviously done nutrition, is we normally do a nutrition session with all of our clients. We normally go down to like a cafe, go through basic macronutrients. He basically breaks it down, obviously, what each of the macros is used for and why they're important into their diet. We also get them to do like a bit of a food diary as far as what they're eating over a 48-hour period, just to get a bit of an understanding of, you know, being also having quite a diverse background. So we've got a lot of Asian clients that eat a lot of rice, that sort of thing. Getting an idea of what people are eating and then being able to then following up from that, we get them to sort of keep track of their food a little bit, and then giving them advice where we're finding that where there's not enough protein, carbohydrates, but doing it in a really relaxed setting that basically isn't intimidating. But then he can also break down the difference between those that wanting to have that weight loss or those that wanting to put on, but basically incorporating a positive relationship with food, saying, look, we can incorporate these sorts of things. So we've got clients in our database at the moment that have an issue with chocolate, or they're a sweet tooth. So, okay, we find ways to help educate them, saying, okay, well, we look at sort of trying to reduce the amount they're eating, but they still get that enjoyment out of it. So we incorporate that into their daily macros, as opposed to making them feel bad about food in general. So therefore, it's something that if they're going out to doing like special events, creating something that they can keep on long term, but understanding why certain things are important, and then giving them sort of ideas as far as how they normally eat in general and how we can sort of tweak it so it's something that they enjoy, rather than them just thinking that they've got to eat chicken and brown rice and broccoli and thinking it's really bland, it's boring, and then having that bad relationship with food that most people already have.
You're 100% right, Tash. In a nutshell, you're 100% right. That's why creating content that can be viewed by many, because you're going to get the same excuses, the same questions get asked. Why is chicken and broccoli and brown rice just so boring? I'm not eating that. You don't need to eat that. You don't need to. You can have a lot of fun with your food and get in tremendous shape. So therefore, summarizing it in a members area, training one video. I always say one video can be watched 1 million times. Have good luck trying to do 1 million times saying the same thing. And that's what I do a lot of the time. As soon as I find that I have in one day someone or 5-10 people will ask the same thing, create content about it, put it in the members area. When someone asks, go to the members area, it's in there. And then it saves time. Again, this is what we're talking about, members areas that save time. Mark, what do you got, brother?
I was just going to reiterate, even though I can put together the nutrition programs and things like that as well, so I found the stuff that you have on there anyway was very similar. I always have the options on there, so they are still choosing what they can have. So the best protein sources, best carb sources, best fat sources, they have that flexibility then going through when they know sort of their BMR, their calories that they should be getting. It still gives them that flexibility regardless to choose options as well. So I always have a questionnaire beforehand as well to find out allergies and things like that beforehand. So then we've got that on record, food likes, dislikes. We do the food journals as well. Because then anything, even the choices that you give them can be based off of what they're already doing and then built on, similar to what Jude said as well.
100% right. And again, it's without being I'm not even being dismissive, but the whole topic is about scalability for you guys to get your coaching approach across in a way where you can have 10 people watching your content and inheriting your knowledge at the same time, infinitely. Members area. So this is the whole point of today, members area, summarizing content, recording it, scalable. That's how you can then put together huge programs, right? Huge programs. Michael, what have you got to chip in, brother?
Oh, just about the food. I know a few of the guys here got the Evolve scanners.
Yeah.
I utilize that when it comes to the food, because that works at the BMR, the total energy expenditure, and it does all the macros and the breakdown of their carb, fats, and proteins for you. But it's all individualized based on their body scan, and I just take that, plug it into their Fitness Pal, and on the app, we've got the ideal food list.
Yeah.
But that Evolve app has all of that in there, so they go, okay, I like that, and that. Just build a meal. It takes that out of me having to go, well, you need to eat this, 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 and this, because obviously we're not qualified to do that. But every month when we do their scan, you'll see those numbers change depending on how much muscle and fat they've put on or lost. And then we just adjust that as we go along, depending on what the goals are.
100%. They're good bits of kit. The Evolts are very, very good, and it gives you a detailed insight into it. Mark mentioned it before. You've just said it, right? You say BMR, macronutrients, and energy expenditure or output. You say that to anybody, right, that's not in our realm, they'll go, say, can you say that again, please? What does that mean? Do you know what I mean? Your base metabolic rate, you need to have a piece of content. This is me just being a perfectionist with my content. like, and having so much of it to try and, you know, get every question that can ever be answered by any person across, you need to have a piece of content explaining what that is, right? You could coach with someone in person what that is. You use a BMR calculator. There's many of them online, right? That'll give you your break-even point, right? Then you're going to choose surplus, deficit, depending on what they want to do for their goals, etc. If you put that together in a video, rather than they go through it and they have questions, and you know that when you get asked all these questions, big tip, guys. Like I do, always be on the lookout for inheriting as much information from your clients as you can, so that if there are multiple clients asked, build a piece of content, put it in your portal or inside your members area. And then when people ask, right,
sorry,
you direct them into the area. Yes, Tugs?
Is like, could you say a members area? Could that even just be like a YouTube channel, like a private YouTube that you send them to, or not quite?
Look, like, here's the thing. People are paying, like, so a lot of people have said that to me before, right? People paying you, right? It's like Trainerize. Anyone here use Trainerize? Quick show of hands. Yeah. On Trainerize, anyone here redone the whole entire video library so it's you doing the exercise demonstrations? Didn't think so. Tane has, my man, well done. My coach, Monica, well done. A few of you. But anyway, look, it's better if it comes from you. It's credibility as well. This is like this here as well. It's like, this will probably roll over by a few minutes and we'll get into the market and stuff after, guys. Like, the credibility that you get from having a platform where you can help people at scale, where it frees up your time to help more people on the front end, or like, you guys aren't even going to help more people on the front end, because when you leverage and or you grow and you have a partner that comes in, whether it is your partner in crime, like literally, like Charmaine's got a partner, Ricky, whether it's Tane who's got his missus working in the back end of his business, whether whether it's Glyn and Claire, whatever it may be, you're not designed to continue helping people face to face and selling your time for money. This is all part of scalability, and this is what I wanted today to be about. Like, I would make a list of everything that you coach, and then I would create content on it. If you're a fully booked trainer, this is stuff that will make you frazzled. Delivering it randomly will make you frazzled, and it will chew up a lot of your time where you guys that are fully booked, like I'm looking at Cam, I'm looking at Claire, like I'm looking at Aaron, like you've got leverage, brother, but you're busy as hell. Like, you all need these systems, right? Need the systems. On that note, if anyone wants to learn how to do this, it is super simple. Just message me saying members portal, and I'll send you everything that you need. Just click it, it syncs it into your account, and you can set it up. But again, it's creating the content. I highly recommend that you do this sooner rather than later, so that when you need it, it's in place. Demo going right back to the start, so that when you hire the trainer, it's there. And that's why I say, ask me for what you need, because it's all fully custom and tailored, but you know what I mean? We make it. You're better off doing this sooner rather than later, and then you'll be able to help people, because you should be having people come to you and ask, what is BMR? Oh, I was looking at this. Do you know what I mean? I was looking at this yesterday. I saw like what a protein was and what the function of it was, for example. What is that? You want people to ask you questions because it shows that they're engaged. If you've got clients that are quiet, get ready to wave goodbye to them. Do you know what I mean? You should be prompting your clients to be asking questions, and then you have the solution where they go click, 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 watch a video of you. Oh, that's awesome. They're implementing outside of the PT sessions. Remember, people get their results when they're not with you, right? The sessions in the gym, they're the icing on the cake. They're not getting their results with you in the club. They're getting it on their own. So yeah, feel free. I know some messages come through, but if you want to learn how to do it, it's super simple. I've got loads of like tutorials about how to record the content and stuff like this, but guys, it will help you massively. And that's a big area that you want to be pushing. A lot of people just don't. They just focus on physical training and they wonder why they have retention problems. Tash.
Yeah, hey, Simon, I just had a thought came up. Obviously, this ties into sort of what I'm looking at, obviously working on next. I know like a lot of my clients, particularly when it comes to the nutrition stuff, they've been saying, they're struggling to understand what they're wanting to, what they should be eating, and also like the cost of food and stuff like that's going up, which is affecting everybody. Has anyone done it in the past where they've basically taken their clients, whether it be to the local supermarket, fruit market, giving them ideas of, you know, some budget friendly ways to be able to give them ideas of, you know, what they should, how to incorporate things into their diets, rather than obviously going and getting like pre-prep meals and stuff, which for some people just doesn't work. Having something like that so that they can actually start to see for themselves how affordable it can be, and as far as how to incorporate that into the nutrition that way.
You're answering your own question. That's exactly what you need to do. Exactly what you need to, right? So exactly what you need to do. I've said for years, like one of the best pieces of content that you can do is inside a VIP group or a members area is get a freaking blender and get your protein powder, your banana, your oats, your honey, your peanut butter, you turn it on, you record it and put it out there. It's a 1-minute video maximum. It's inherited by people, they'll watch it. Here's the macro breakdown. Don't have an excuse like you can't eat breakfast because you're too fucking busy in the morning. Bullshit. Like what you got to do is go to the supermarket yourself, as we all do, right? We all go, we all eat healthily, we know what we're doing with our macros, with our PMR, with our calories and our stuff, right? And then just record it. That's all you got to do. That, and then what happens then? Social proof. You got, or not social proof. You got content for social media. You got content via socials. Don't think about, like Tarkin said that he took a client to the shop. That's dedication right there, right? I'm going to teach you guys how to do that, have that dedication, but to have it accessible for every one of your clients. Imagine if you had to do a food shop in person with every one of your clients as well as train them. Good luck, right? Do you know what I mean? So content creation, guys, then store it in a members area. It is the solution for you guys. It's infinitely scalable, infinitely scalable. If 1 million clients came to me tomorrow, well, I wouldn't be able to work with them one-on-one because I don't take any more, and I definitely wouldn't want 1 million, but I could tell you what, I could make 1 million logins to the portal. And to be honest with you, everything you need is in the portal. I just provide high-level accountability like you guys do for a certain duration of time. Gold, silver, or bronze in person. It's the same thing, but it has to be scalable. Otherwise, you'll be chasing yourself. All right. And that's it. Jade, have you got the link for the next webinar? Have you got it? I think you should have it.
I think you sent it to me last time. Did you send it through the messenger?
It's in the portal, yeah. It's in the portal. If not, message me on Messenger saying, send me the next link if you can't find it, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, and I'll have to get you to send me another code, password or access to the portal, because mine's not working. I'm currently using
that's all right. We'll give you Phil's.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay,
that's what I'm using now. Okay, cool.
Done. We'll speak to you in a little bit. We'll speak to you in 5.
Yeah, I'll be back in a couple of minutes, so just get off for a second.
So yeah, guys, hopefully that makes sense. If you want something like that created, honestly, think about it like this. Is my last note here was the time that you spend coaching this stuff. Like for me, I live it daily. Like and that's why, again, I create content regularly and put it into the portal. Like the time that you would spend even telling 2 people, even 2 or 3, and you got, again, you're all busy PTs. You're going to have a lot of people inherit this content, right? So you need to take that time rather than you explaining it 3 times, then 4 times, then 5 times, then 50 times. Just put it together and then put people in, like, would you like to train today rather than me go through this with you? Or would you like me to go through it you in person? If someone's paying you and they're on the clock, whatever, you go through it in person. What I would do is say, go and look at this yourself. Everything is there so that we can train today, right? But then next week, if there's no movement and we haven't moved forward, then we're going through it together, right? And there's no physical training session, it's personal. Give them the outlook. And then if you need to do a session with them to educate them personally, then it's good. It means you get a break and you can sit down and talk to them about passionate stuff.
Do you think the VIP Facebook group is just as good as a portal, brother? Or would you, because it's a portal, I suppose, is like you're a client, so you get this access, whereas anyone can be a VIP group, I suppose.
That's the thing. So VIPs, we like to have every single lead in there, and I don't like having like just client only groups, right? So like, I mean, a lot of people run things through Facebook groups. However, they are getting dated. I don't know whether anyone else has heard, Facebook groups are getting very dated. There's a lot more technical stuff out there. of which I'm really excited to.
Facebook's for old people.
Facebook is for old people, apparently. It has been for old people for a long time. There's 4 billion.
Just to butt in, I'm old. I'm old, thanks.
Yeah, there you go.
I told someone the other day I bought a DVD and they told me I'm old.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. Well, look, guys,
anyway,
what we'll do is this. Questions about anything. Like I said, if you want to learn how to build these things, it is super easy, right? It is super easy. And the time that it will save you is massive. It will enable you to focus more on the coaching, which is something that all of us want to do. And if they're not utilizing that content that you tell them to go and watch, because they won't, then it will force you to then actually do a personal training session. Do you know what I mean? Give them a chance to do it on their own. Cool. You're not doing it on your own. So guess what? You're paying for my time. I know you need it. So I'm telling you today what it is. Sit down, press play and watch it with them. Like at the end of the day, you've got to do, like Tarkin said, or like Jack did when he hit his trainer, you've got to change, when he hit his client, you've got to change some way, right? Any more questions on that? I mean, obviously, yes, go Claire, speak. Interrupt me, just interrupt me, Claire, you're all good. There you go, I'll help. There you go, there you go.
You can hear me now?
Yes,
Sorry, I've got new headphones and stuff. It's actually a question for Glenn that he asked me to ask.
Yeah, awesome.
So obviously he's going into a new location when he returns from Adelaide. He wanted to ask whether he put up the big banner that he's creating. He wanted to know whether he should have the like free ad PT for free, or just an advertisement to say like there is a new PT coming. He wanted to know with which like marketing.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I answered it for him, but anyway, take this from me today for him.
Okay.
You don't want to put like a new trainer in town. We're going to do the booked before we begin strategy with him, which works freaking unreal. If you then spend the money on getting a 6-foot banner which says new PT in town, within 2 weeks he's no longer the new PT, right? So the banner is redundant. So you're going to have to basically, I just do an ad PT for free, or result specific Kickstarter package for free, scan to claim, right?
Thank you. That's what I needed to know, because I'm going down to Officeworks in a minute.
Oh, nice. I need to go and do that actually. I need to make one too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions, guys, about anything there? Otherwise, membership areas, I'll hit everyone up today on Messenger, and let's go marketing loop. Yeah, good. All right, marketing loop. We've got 3 strategies we're going to go over today, and how to culminate all of them, and then to give some people some more time to finish off what they're doing with the current explosive lead generation we've had. So I'll see you in a second.